Good morning, everybody. Monday morning quarterback, episode 11, and here at Dreyer and Reinbold Racing, gonna show you guys around a little bit. Let me flip the camera around. So this is when you first walk into the showroom. A lot of trophies. They've won over the years. A little reception area. Engineering office. Jeff's in there working. Most everybody's at lunch today, so this will be coming back out into the main shop. Can't show you guys too close, but there's Sage Karam and J.R. Hildebrandt's primary cars. Getting ready, be loading in at the Speedway later this week, and practice starts. So one of the cool things here, see a lot of Dennis Reinbold's family has a long history at the Speedway, so you see a lot of their cars up there. And when they actually redid this shop, they set it up to look like the old garages at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So pretty neat. Can show you this car up close. This is a brand new tub that's being prepared for a backup roll. Hopefully we don't use it, for Sage and JR. So this is what kind of a Indy car looks like in its early stages. Not a whole lot going on. They're just starting to run the wiring through it and get it preparation. But that is a IndyCar tub in its rawest form. So in addition to IndyCar, Dreyer does what was Global Rallycross. I guess it's now American Rallycross. So you see some of these rally cars kind of around the shop. That season doesn't start quite yet, so they're in various stages. Up the stairs here is a gym and a break room. Right here we have kind of sub-assembly area for uprights and gearbox stuff. And then kind of keep walking through, just kind of a dirty room for cleaning and grinding. And over here, so Indy cars, everything gets crack checked periodically after a certain mileage, including the shocks. So there's a crack check machine, Magnaflux machine, everything to clean. And then this is a wing assembly in here. So some seats that have been poured for drivers. As we kind of wander back this way, so this team was a full-time IndyCar team at one point. They've since cut back to just the 500, and but they put a full effort in order to do the 500. So we're actually working on these cars kind of year-round to get ready. So there's rallycross tires. Typically you'd see the timing stands, fuel rigs, all that over here. Since we did run a little at the Speedway last week, a lot of the equipment's down there, so stuff's kind of scattered. And then we get over here to the body shop. So they have a paint booth. Everything gets painted in here. And there's kind of a whole nother side to the shop where Dennis has some of his personal cars and toys and stuff in various stages. And then up there is more bodywork area. So we'll kind of circle back, and I apologize for the wobbly video. I actually got some new equipment for these videos, but just ran out of time this weekend to get it all set up and learn. So as you'll see, so upstairs they've got some apartments and like a little restaurant and stuff to entertain sponsors and stuff when they come. And here's the setup pad where you would pull the car down, do any integral measuring or anything like that. And as we slide through here, this is kind of just utilities, extra supplies in there. And then this is actually the damper / wiring room. So I share this room with Bill Bartley. We call him Billy Wires. He does all the wiring on the car. And then over here is where all the dampers, or shocks as you guys know them, are built, but a lot of my equipment's in the truck because we had it down at the Speedway. And then kind of the last part of the shop is the machine area. And Robbie Ott's a head fabricator over here. They make a lot of their own parts. And he makes some CSI parts here too. So he's actually working on some of our LT adjustable glands. And Robbie does a lot of prototyping for us here. So we'll kind of go back out into the main shop, into the transporter, and we'll start asking questions from you guys and tell you a little bit about how the weekend went for CSI. So starting next week, I'll be out at the Speedway all week and not in the shop. So if you need something, Jake will be there, and then I'll return any emails, text, phone calls in the evening. So this is kind of up close on a rally car. We do the dampers for the rally effort as well. So pit stop car, it's got an electric motor in it, so they can actually drive it from outside in and do live pit stops. And then multiple transporters, rallycross transporter, and a couple IndyCar transporters. At one time, I think Dreyer was a 4-car team. So, and this is where I work a lot in May. So we got, it's a bit of a mess. Part of my stuff's here, parts of the Speedway. A spring preload machine that I use whenever we do a spring change. Some shocks that I'm post-dynoing after running last week. Vacuum bleed fill machine, kind of my workstation. And then a Rohrig Emma dyno, which we have the pleasure of getting to use whenever needed when we're testing and developing sprint car shocks, midget or quarter midget. So nice to be partnered with these guys and help them. They allow us to use a lot of the technologies they have that don't get used every day anymore. So glad everybody's tuned in. Thank you to Dreyer Reinbold for letting me kind of show you guys behind the scenes. As I said, those two cars are getting prepped for the Indianapolis 500. First day of practice is next Tuesday. I think they're going to move the cars down to the garages at the Speedway on Thursday. The road course races this weekend, but we don't partake in the road course, just the oval stuff. So, got the pleasure of going to Kokomo last night, seeing Kevin Thomas Jr. pull off the hat trick. Won all 3 this weekend and 1 last Sunday, so that's 4 in a row. Him and their team are doing a great job. Pretty impressive. It was reminiscent of a Stambro 53 car weekend, what they did. So Brad Alexander, who's worked with us for the past a little over 3 years and has moonlighted with KT the past year, he's actually left us to go work for KT full time. So he had a great opportunity to go there and work with Davy Jones and KT, and that's really his passion, is racing. You know, he wants to be a crew chief and a mechanic, and we certainly understood that, and we loved having Brad, and maybe we'll get him back a little bit in the winter time. He was a great shock builder. So anybody tuned in, we are looking for an entry-level shock builder that we can kind of train up. And similar to Brad, he moved out from California a little over 3 years ago, assembled oil pumps at Barnes, and started from the ground up with us, and we got him building shocks. So we're happy for Brad with that opportunity, and KT, and they're running our shocks and doing very, very well. So this weekend I'll be going to Eldora on Friday night for the USAC and the Outlaws. I think that's all I have scheduled right now, trying to take a light weekend since we're getting ready to roll into Indy and got a lot of stuff going on. So winners that were sent to us, so obviously Kevin Thomas Jr., we just talked about him with the hat trick. Won Gas City, Plymouth, and Kokomo, all tough company. Another guy who just won 3 in a row, Les McClara, just killing it at Putnamville Speedway, start the year with 3 in a row. Brody Rowe just simply dominated at Ventura, and that was an impressive race to watch. So congratulations to Brody and his dad. AJ Hopkins won at Putnamville. Seen Brent just tuned in. Kind of a reverse finish of the week before. AJ won and Brent got second. Some micro races won. Braden Anderson won at Port City in Jake Mosley's car. Andrew Peters at Circus City. Chance Crum won a couple up at Deming. And Charles Hunt at Paradise out in, I believe, Pennsylvania. So some quarter midget winners. Landon Baldwin won at Lucas Oil. The Thurin brothers had a great weekend out in Tucson, both of them breaking track records, multiple track records, and Quinn got a few main event wins as well. And every week we keep getting notified Ty Driscoll. That kid's winning every weekend, so that's good for him. And Gavin Bochelle won again at North Carolina QMA with our shocks on his light 160. So that's how it went last weekend. Anybody that's tuned in and you have questions, let me know. I don't have my computer screen today, so I'll do my best to look at what you're saying and get it answered. A couple that were sent in, and this one kind of a repeat, but I want to touch base on it again because a lot of people ask this question every week, and it's, do we set our gas pressure on our shocks fully extended or on the car? And you definitely want to do it fully extended because it's consistent. You're doing it at the same spot every time, and the divider piston's basically at the home, what we call the home position there. If it's on the car and the shock's compressed, the divider piston goes up in the chamber some, and now your volume is different. So always set the shock fully extended. You don't have to necessarily take it off the car, unhook the top of it, fully extend it, check your gas there. The next question that was emailed in was the difference between wing and non-wing shock settings for a micro sprint. So traditionally, this is just speaking generally, we would start with less rebound in the front on non-wing versus wing. So if you're starting, say, 10 clicks open across the front wing, maybe 14 or so non-wing, those are just a generalization. If you want specific numbers, definitely ask me with your shock serial numbers. Email me, message me, and we'll go from there. Eric, I'll get back to your question. Usually we start with about the same rear shock settings, wing to non-wing. However, non-wing will start taking more rebound out of the left rear than we would wing. Wing traditionally will keep the rebound pretty tight when the track slicks off. So that's kind of the difference. It's not a huge difference, but getting that rebound out of the front helps to get forward drive when you got the wing off the car. Is there a way to convert a 6-inch compression adjustable to a double? If you're referring to a gas shock, there is. So we changed the bulb assembly, and it's, off the top of my head, about $350, $375. And we can send you back your other single adjustable assembly in case you ever bent a body or something, you could reuse it. But yeah, we convert those all the time. So the question was going from our MTX or RS17 single adjustable to the X2 double. We can do that. Eric's question was storing shocks compressed or extended. I generally store them fully extended. There's not any pressure on the seals or anything. And it shouldn't matter vertical or horizontal. The way our shocks are built and bled, you shouldn't develop any air pockets. But I'll touch on that a little further. Storage in the winter time out here in the Midwest, you want to store your shocks where they're average room temperature, 50, 60 degrees. If your garage isn't heated, maybe put them in a box somewhere that is heated. I mean, they don't need to be 80 degrees. But if they get left in the trailer, parked outside, we get negative temperatures, the seals tend to get pretty hard, and then we'll see some weeping. A lot of times, once the shock gets moving a couple times, the seals soften up, the leak goes away. As long as it didn't leak a substantial amount of fluid, you're okay. But I would just prefer